All right, so there's this rumor going around that Katy Perry a nun, and I'm here just quickly to tell you she didn't do it. Kinda stupid. You thought I was about to leave? Look at the time. We gotta talk about Katy. For starters, why she had a problem. There was this crib, right? She wanted to buy it. It was $14 million. She said, okay, cool, let me get that. They said, oh, you know what, Katy? There's some nuns that live there, so you can't just like buy it straight up. Katy said, but I got money though. The Archbishop of California said, I said nuns live there, but just for the sake of argument, how much money are we talking? Katy said, just about 14 million. The Archbishop said, oh, praise God. Sold to the lady who sang I Kissed a Girl. The nun said, I kissed a what? And this is where the problems begin. See, the nuns had no idea who Katy Perry was. So they did a little bit of Googling. They seen I Kissed a Girl. They seen wild performances and all that. The nuns was like, oh, no, no, no. See, the nuns had been living in this house for decades. It was a convent. So they didn't want to just give it away to somebody who, in their words, didn't share their values. The Archbishop and the Archdiocese, on the other hand, said, oh, yes, 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 we need money. You see, the Archdiocese of California was forced to pay $880 million for, let's just say what the Catholic Church usually gets in trouble for. If you're a little confused, look in the comments. Katy Perry, Jim Carrey, Halle Berry, whoever wanted to buy the house, they were gonna sell it. The nun said, y'all broke, that's y'all problem. We not leaving. We not selling it to Katy. The church said, yes, you are. The nun said, or what? See, dragging out nuns from their home would be a pretty bad look. So the church and Katy came up with a plan. Katy realizes that the nuns just may not know her like they think they do. Fun fact, Katy Perry grew up in a very religious household. So she said, look, why don't we just set up a meeting with the nuns? The nuns say, all right, for sure, come through. Katy Perry pulls up. Katy Perry said, look, you know, nuns, I'm finna just sing y'all a song. The nun said, that would be nice. Katy Perry pulls out her phone. She starts singing some church songs. She says, oh, happy day. The nun said, it's a no for me, Katy. Katy says, no, like no to the song or no, like y'all not selling me the house. The nun said, no to both. Now here's where things start to get wicked. Thing is, the nuns had bought the house in like the 70s, but it was still technically kinda owned by the Catholic Church. So the Catholic Church said, okay, look, nuns, we just finna sell it to Katy Perry and y'all just gonna have to make that. The nun said, okay, bet. The Archbishop said, okay, cool, that was easy. All right, Katy, sign here. So Katy said, boy, you ain't hear how they say bet? Them nuns up to something. And boy, were those nuns up to something. They went behind the church's back and sold the house to a woman named Dana. Now listen to this next part closely. Dana bought the crib for $15 million and told the nuns that she would be opening it to the public. The nuns loved that. But see, what Dana meant by opening it to the public is what Dana was gonna make it into a hotel. Katy said, Dana, you shiesty, huh? Dana said, Katy, nothing personal. I'm just all about my paper. Katy said, speaking of paper, here's a paper saying that I'm suing you. See, Katy and the Archbishop had a case. They were doing business to sell a home. Whether the home is the nuns or the Archbishop's, Dana entered that business transaction illegally. So boom, it's time to go to court. Question 1, is the house for the nun or the church? The judge didn't want no problem, so they went straight to the law. And it turns out houses that are over 7 million, which this house was, belong to the Vatican. So the court said, woo, Katy, if you want to buy that house, don't talk to any of these folks, go straight to the Vatican. But the judge said in order for Katy to buy the house, first, Katy must find a new place for the nuns to live. Now, question 2, did Dana enter this business transaction illegally? Yes, she did. You can't just slide in and take somebody's house when they're already in the middle of a deal. There's a little more to it, but let's just say Dana came in bad faith. She knew Katy was gonna buy the house. She knew the nuns didn't like Katy, and she exploited that. In fact, a jury said the exact same thing. Dana was fined $5 million. Dana said, $5 million? What? The judge said, excuse me, let me just add on $10 million on top of that for the fun of it. Because I don't like your attitude. Those were nuns, mama. Dana said, well, I'm finna be bankrupt. The judge said, well, bankruptcy court is next door. Dana goes to bankruptcy court. This is her going to bankruptcy court with the nuns. The nuns decided to stick by their girl Dana until the end. And right before the nuns enter into bankruptcy court with their girl Dana, they went on the news and they said, Katy, stop all of this nonsense. And sadly, those were some of the nuns' last words, because as soon as she goes into the bankruptcy court, she collapses and tragically passes. The other nuns said, Katy, this is your fault. You caused all this stress. Katy Perry said, what? The Archbishop said, what? Katy, you still want to buy the house? Katy said, the Archbishop said, If I could talk to the Vatican, and Katy said, nah, it's good, bro. And the sale expired. And this is why people think Katy Perry a nun, which she clearly didn't. But I say kinda because, like, what if the nun really was stressed and,